What's up, guys? We are back. Big Moose Podcast, the second episode. We have a lot of teasers, a lot of trailers, a lot of announcements to go over. We watched Longlegs this week, the episode right before the season finale of The Boys. And let's just get right into it. But before then, let's get into intros. My name is Matthew. I'll be your host today. Today we have on as Tim.
How's it going?
We have Trev as well.
Hey, what's up?
And we have our not-so-guest, but our awesome friend, Pierce.
How you doing?
Pierce is visiting us from Chicago. He'll be on the podcast next week or two.
That's right.
Good to have you.
Good to have you.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. So the two new teasers we had this week, we had Agatha All Along and Brave New World, a Captain America movie, and they're both Marvel films and shows. Agatha All Along they've both been in production for like at least 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Marvel did this whole reshuffling. And so Agatha All Along is about, Agatha, she was in WandaVision, and Brave New World is a Captain America, the fourth one technically, but with a new Captain America.
Yep.
Tim, did you get to see any of these new teasers?
I did. I saw both of them. And, I think as much, I not that I hate to like them, but Marvel's been on kind of a spiral downward, I think, recently, ever since Endgame.
Right.
It's kind of the general consensus. But these both look really good, kind of, And
right.
I did not like Sam Wilson. I wanted Bucky to be Captain America originally after Steve. But I think that he's really grown into it, and I'm kind of excited. I'm excited for Red Hulk. Red Hulk's going to be really cool. Harrison Ford is great. But I thought I had a couple of scary scenes, too, I feel like.
Yeah, very horror-esque.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I feel like it's not going to be actually horror, because it's Marvel. But
right.
But it still kind of looked creepy. I was like, whoa.
But then again, think of Werewolf by Night.
You're right. That was
you
definitely
never
an outlier.
know. You never
But
know.
yeah, it was good. You're right. They had the potential.
Yeah, I liked Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night was good.
Yeah.
Black and white and color.
I love
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
They're both good.
I watched both of them. Yeah, I really like the color version too, because you can see all the little nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Been able to look
But
at.
that black
I think
and white
Marvel's
is gorgeous.
But I'm really excited for the Brave New World to have multiple Hulk villains.
Yeah,
Not
leader.
like the leader, Red Hulk. It's funny that you get all these Hulk elements because you can't make out, how Marvel I think has that deal where they can't make a Hulk movie actually
with like Universal or something.
Yeah, something like that. But they can use Hulk the character.
Exactly.
So we're getting the Hulk story, like in his villains and his family through like side stuff. It's really it's a weird dynamic, but it's gonna be fun seeing Hulk villains and Captain America face off.
Yeah, the leader I'm really excited for.
The leader is gonna be, and that's a callback from
2008.
yeah.
Because we had Thunderbolt Ross come into Civil War for the first time since 2008. Yeah. And then I think the only other thing they mentioned from that film was Betty Ross is coming back as well.
Betty Ross, Liv Tyler, right?
Yeah, Liv Tyler's coming back.
Yeah. Is this the first one she's been in since 2008?
Yeah, I think she's reprising her role exactly. Yeah.
I feel like she's been in one of them, but in between though.
She was in What If.
Yeah,
she was in What If, but this is her first like on screen since.
I really liked her as Betty.
Yeah.
But then again, I like Edward Norton.
But Aubrey Plaza as well as the villain, Agatha.
That's crazy. I love Aubrey Plaza. Yeah.
Let me see Aubrey Plaza. Yeah. If you guys seen Legion as well, the Marvel TV show on FX before.
Yeah. Did you like it?
I did like it. Yeah. The first 2 seasons I really liked.
Okay. What about not Legion? What's the other superhero show that kind of gets brushed under the rug? I don't know. But
no, yeah. So yeah, Brave New World and Agatha All Along coming soon. Brave New World looks pretty good. It comes out on Valentine's Day next year. Then Agatha this September. Yeah, Marvel hopefully with Deadpool coming out soon, they can get a new name for themselves.
Yeah,
they probably will.
I can't wait for that. I can talk about that all day.
Yeah, I mean we'll cover Deadpool when it comes out as a whole episode.
Nice.
Next we have is trailers. A couple new trailers came out. The Umbrella Academy last season trailer.
Oh yeah,
Gerard Way. Absolutely. exactly remember how many episodes per season there are, but
8, 9.
yeah, around 8, 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, 6 to 8. But yeah, this last season there was supposed to be a spin-off, but Netflix canceled that as well. But this last season looks great. I love these characters, and it's really hard for a Netflix show to get like this many seasons.
Yeah.
So somebody up at Netflix must love Gerard Way.
Must love. Yeah.
MCR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that, Pierce? Do you ever watch Umbrella Academy?
I've been meaning to. That's
Okay.
been on my watch list because I'm also a fan of My
It's
Chemical
good.
Romance.
Yeah.
And
good.
Gerard Way, he's living in the same vibe as me. So I it's a shame that I haven't. So it's on the list.
You know what? For me, it was right when we started getting the non-DC Marvel superheroes, and it was the
Yes.
first one, and it was awesome. And then right after that, Invincible and The Boys both came out and like swept it way under the rug. So it did not get as much I feel like love as it
It should
deserves.
have.
It's an awesome show.
Now, wasn't it based? It's based on a comic,
comic,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. So that would be
It's
something.
so good.
I would definitely love to read the comic a little bit and then just see how that compares to. Oh, you got it?
I got it. Yeah,
got it?
I
go
wanna
check out
read
The
it.
Office. I got I forget how many. I think it's the first 3 volumes I got of the Umbrella Academy.
Nice.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
down to see
Yeah,
that.
I also got the Killjoys. I want to read that comic.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I'm down for that.
That's rad.
I was gonna bring some comics actually.
I got a ton of comics too if you want them.
Perfect.
Are the
They're
first
good
three-
reads, and they're really well done TV shows.
Yeah.
Like, Grayson was
It
like,
is.
The VFX are amazing because they got like the
I've seen
mainstream
that.
characters.
I'll tell you what, it has one of the coolest fight scenes. It's the when Kiss is playing and Diego's fighting, and
Nice.
it's like panning through the from the side view of the outside the windows,
Nice.
and like doing flips and shit.
So would you say though, like in terms of like its translation from the comics to the television show, do you feel like they adapted that pretty well?
I didn't read the comics. You gotta ask him.
Yeah,
How did
I would say they did a very good job. I think that's in part because I know Gerard Way was involved. Like he was on set at times. And, like, he was
Oh.
involved with the TV show.
Mhm.
And so it's very much
is why.
the story you get in the comics, but because it's a TV show, they had to expand it so much they could keep everything in the comics, and then the bits they would fill in with like more like daily life stuff that you want to get in the comics. You kind of hit more main points.
Yeah.
It feels really natural, and it's really good.
Oh, that's cool.
It is really for you guys. Who's your favorite character?
Oh,
I want to know who.
I
who's
do like
your favorite?
Diego,
Diego.
but I honestly love them all. They all have like
They all do. They all do. Have
What
a
is,
really good
number
five?
five?
Five's
It's gotta be
awesome.
5. Yeah,
I love Luther.
I do love 5.
I love Luther.
Luther's funny.
Yeah, those are fun.
But no, I love
I
Diego.
think
too.
he's one character that's plays a little bit on the goofy side.
Yeah.
Though.
hmm
I think Diego's funny
I think
because
it
he's
is
not.
fun, though.
He doesn't try to be funny, but he's always He kind of like innately is funny. Yeah, I'm excited.
Are all
What's
3
that?
volumes of the comic though? Is that like the first 3 seasons that you go by, or
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you go through, it's like
Each
the
volume's a
Aqua
season.
Suite is like the volume for the comic, and that's a season. And they got like the Dallas and all that stuff.
yeah? Okay, sick.
Cool.
You have to give those a read.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The last trailer we got this week was the new Sandy Cheeks Saving Bikini Bottom trailer.
Yeah.
So this movie, the SpongeBob movies really haven't hit since the first one, but this one looks a little different. Sandy and SpongeBob are for some reason like outside of Bikini Bottom, and you can see like an actual like, crane coming down and like picking up the sand where Bikini Bottom's at, like moving it somewhere else outside of the water. It seems because Sandy's like outside of the water, getting her like help from her family from
Right.
Texas. So it looks decent.
And you said it's going to be in the same animation as like the show.
And no, it's
or is it?
no, like every movie it seems like has like a different
They do, and I don't like it. I want like
animation.
original SpongeBob movie,
Mhm.
like just
Yeah.
a crisp version of the TV show 2D. It was so good.
That's how it
I'm
should
telling
be.
you, yeah.
Mhm.
All the movies, they would have been so much better if they would have gone like that. In my opinion, at least.
The last movie was the same animation as like their new show, and
Yeah, I didn't like
that
that.
was awful,
Yeah.
honestly. But yeah, I'll definitely watch it. I'm a true SpongeBob fan, so I've seen them all, and I'll judge them all. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through and through.
through and through.
Yes.
So a couple announcements too this week. Shrek 5 was announced.
Gonna be
Yes,
killer.
Yes, it was.
An actual date, 2026.
Mm-hmm. Shrek.
Yeah, so coming right off the new Puss in Boots movie, this DreamWorks, really is pushing this, and I think this is a great idea.
I think it is.
Do you think it will be in the animation of Shrek or the new Puss in Boots, kind of like Spider-Verse?
There's no way to know, but I I hope it's the original. You know,
You hope it's
but
original?
honestly,
Okay.
I think I don't know.
It'll probably be the original
I think
with a
it'll be.
mix. There'll
The
be
mix?
It'd be
Okay.
cool.
They'll probably
Yeah.
have a mix.
I hope
I
they
do
push
like
it
the
a little
Spider-Verse
into
thing.
something
Same.
a little new, but like have at the core.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
original
of course.
animation.
Because I'll even like one thing I will say that's amazing about animation is kind of like goes back to what you were talking about with SpongeBob. Is the one movie that changed the way that CG animation is done now was Hotel Transylvania, because they took the principles of squash and stretch and about using multiple exposure and like now these are like legit like animation tricks, or like sometimes you'll do like dry brush effects. You can see some of that. Gendy Tartakovsky and his team actually brought that in. So if we would potentially get a little bit of those remnants in there that you also seen like with Spider-Verse and stuff like that, I think that would be really interesting and bring a new flavor. But as long as you keep to the core of what Shrek was, and sort of like in that grounded realism
Yeah.
in a way, like that uncanny valley, I think we would be in a good spot.
Yeah,
Totally.
definitely. I'm into that. I'm into the new animation. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
I do find myself feeling nostalgic
Yeah.
for the original, but I'm open because I also Puss in Boots. I didn't think Puss in Boots fit in animation because he was originally in Shrek's animation.
Yep.
But he fit. I liked it in the new animation. And I do love Spider-Verse, and I think it's really innovative, and it's just crazy animation nowadays. Wow,
It's amazing.
what you can do with it.
Yeah, you're so right. It has endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities.
But no one's putting the money in
Detail,
it anymore,
man.
and they're
It's
firing
so
all the
detailed.
animators,
Yeah.
which is horrible. But that's a whole other topic that I'll gripe on another time.
Yeah, now Pierce is crying.
That'd be a big topic.
Next episode, what grinds Pierce's gears?
So the last announcement I have is Redbox went into bankruptcy.
Very sad.
The end of physical media in the public space.
Very sad.
Yeah, end of physical media.
Yeah.
That was a ritual. That was a beautiful thing. Go to
It was,
Blockbusters, Hollywood Video, whatever you had. And then once those were gone with the age of the dinosaur, having at least that was like the little respite, right? And just like, yeah, like having the touch screen and going at it, grabbing some popcorn, some snacks. What is
I
this
loved
all
it.
come to?
I loved it. I
And
loved
it's
the
just
Redbox.
like browsing the shelves at the video store and stuff.
Yeah.
A Blockbuster
And they're
was
like-
better, but
There's
Oh, yeah.
still a family video, like around where my parents live.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a couple.
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
Some
scattered.
survived.
They're
Like it's
scattered.
still surviving, and I think the key is I saw they moved into CBD.
You remember a
That's
lot of them.
smart.
That checks.
Yeah.
A lot of them
That's
used
smart.
to move into like a lot of like pizza places too, like a half pizza
Yeah.
place, half like family video, or half
Yeah,
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
that's smart.
Yeah, actually, in Highland, where we grew up, or Trev and I guess grew up, in Connor, his local movie store is a family. It wasn't a family video. I don't remember. Which one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the ritual of just going to like your local Blockbuster Video Villa and just like smelling that and seeing all the movies that you'd never even think about even
True.
watching was all within the ritual. I love that.
Oh,
And-
Yeah. But he had
You
a.
didn't have an algorithm there, like choosing what you
Mhm.
saw to browse. It was all of it. You just
Exactly.
go along the line, you got your alphabetical list, and see what's
Yeah.
all different categories, horror.
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yes.
Or even going like further back, like when you could rent game systems.
Yeah.
You could,
Yes.
rent a PlayStation or N64 or something.
Yeah,
the
Game Boy.
Yeah, and you can run all the
Try
games
that
too.
system before you see what you like.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, the RIP physical media, but it was a long time coming.
Well, hopefully somebody resurrects it, because I like that. Just the fact that I could say, "Oh yeah, I have that."
You own it, right? Like
You
it's
know?
it's
Yeah.
really all to collectors now,
Well, especially
unfortunately.
with like, seen sometimes a company goes bankrupt or they just decide to pull a certain type of media, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I bought this digitally and now I don't have it.
Mhm.
Yep.
When you got there physically, you know it's there. As
It's
long
right
as you
here.
don't break it,
As long as
you
you-
break
You
it,
take care of it. Yeah.
you're fine. You know, no episodes are gonna get deleted.
Yeah.
No movies deleted.
But all right, yeah. And the last thing I wanted to say before we get into Longlegs was that unfortunately Shelley Duvall passed away this week.
Rest
Yeah,
in
very
peace.
good.
We all know our princess from The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Pierce was saying earlier, she came into the spotlight for a little bit.
Yep. yeah, came into the spotlight for a little bit, had her moment like about I'd say like a month or so ago, and then basically it was like she was like kind of waiting out, holding out until she kind of got that final recognition, you know, to let people know she was still around, but then kind of, you know, took that as her sign to head out.
That's all she needed, yeah. I guess so.
You know, last little hurrah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a short too where she would like read books to children too.
Yes.
Like Shelley Duvall's Corner or something like that. But I don't think she ever had kids of her own, but she had like a bunch of pets. I remember reading. She had like a bunch of cats and dogs and
Yes.
horses, and she was a very kind woman. All right, this week we watched Longlegs. Longlegs is a film about a serial killer. This FBI agent, hunts him down. She's kind of psychic. She's kind of not. Let's dive into that. It stars Nicolas Cage as this pasty, weird serial killer. So we see Bill Clinton, on the wall in the precinct. So it's got to be somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It's also directed by Osgood Perkins. And yeah, what do you guys? Well, let's talk a little bit about it, and then we can get into spoilers. But yeah, it is the aspect ratio. What I'll say about personally first, that the aspect ratio, the editing, the sound design, all personally I loved, and those were really key points of this film. And the aspect ratio changes a lot depending on dream sequences, past, future events. And the character design of just Cage himself was very eerie, and they tried a little bit of like hearsay in the beginning, try to like not show him completely, but they do. And what do you guys feel about that?
Well, to kind of start off with, at least we'll talk with like the monster. We'll call it the monster makeup at this point, because he literally looks deformed. He looks like a creature onto himself. So much it looks like the worst botched plastic surgery you could think of.
Seriously.
Because like in some ways it really does, like when I was watching it, kind of to give you a general sense, it really feels like you're mixing together, like I would want to say like you're mixing together The Conjuring and Silence of the Lambs. That really is what this film feels like. So like it's kind of funny, like the similarities between like our main like villains is the fact that it's almost like this, because Nicolas Cage took on this sort of like feministic sort of character. Like the way he talked, it felt very much like it had a feminine air to it, but yet at the same time so sinister. Kind of like what's that one villain from Powerpuffs with the claws? Him. Very much giving me those vibes. That's like that just popped in my head. That's really the vibe, and it's just so off.
Yeah.
And like one of the other things that I noticed too is the way he was moving his hands. Now I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I have limited knowledge in occultism, and it's just the way he was like sing-songing like his lines, and like the way he was moving his hands. That's really key in spell work. And that's very much an innate thing. So that was something that did creep me out, actually, was just how well he played into that sort of realm. That is very much like something that you would hear about being done within like Satanistic rituals and stuff of that nature. It's all like literally embodying the intent. But I agree, the aspect ratio, the fact that there was moments, this isn't a spoiler, but when we would go into flashbacks or like memories, it would go into like this sort of like 4:3 aspect, and then we would kind of just open back up once we went to like into the 16 by 9 or like wider than that, like widescreen. We were like presently in the film. I enjoyed the fact like the first half of the film was very intriguing, and just kept asking the right questions and giving you just the right amount of answers. But then towards the end, it just felt like it was just sort of like this garbage toss of just all the information, and it just became very repetitive at the end, and just kept driving home the idea, oh yeah, this is the work of the devil, and it's just this creepy, trying to like make it as creepy as possible, but it fell short.
Yeah, it was very pushy at the end, where it was like, if you didn't know already, this is supposed to be creepy.
Exactly.
And also, it was, yeah, like you said, like they really knowledge dumped at the end, where it was like, there was a point near the end where it was like someone gave like a very quick synopsis of a concept for an idea for the film, and the rest of the film was a like just the concept wrapped around that, but it wasn't like fully fleshed out.
It was a beautiful setup. It was like, you know what it was like for me? It was like the beginning versus the end of Barbarian. You guys remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the beginning of it was like awesome, and then I don't know, it just fell short for me at the end. But this is the same thing with that.
Yeah.
It was a great
3/4 of it, I
concept.
was like, this is awesome. Like, this is so scary and eerie. Then the end just drops so much. You know, like,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
That's the only thing that I will say too that held up is the fact that obviously, I mean, if you haven't realized at this point, like the devil's a key element in the film.
yeah.
Like the one thing that did keep the eerie thing going was just representation of his creature, like or himself, essentially. Like, yeah, we get the goat head, which is very much an Osgood Perkins sort of staple because he did that in Black Coat's Daughter as well. But also like the fact is we got like that shadow figure with just like the beady red eyes with like the slit pupils.
Yeah, that was scary. Dude.
That
was
was
my favorite
scary.
part.
That was
My-
scary.
yeah.
It was
was-
simple, it was creepy, it was
And it
good.
just does the
The
job.
detail, but the lack of detail. It was
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's the simple
Beautiful.
stuff that gets you because
Awesome.
it's so remnant of things that you actually hear people say. I've seen this figure that is
Yeah.
just like a form or something. Because I've had that experience too.
yeah.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I mean, I could go into so many stories about that, but I go into detail on that on my own podcast. But that's another bag. But yeah, that got me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are
Yeah.
times where I purposely would kind of look away. I'm like, I'm not looking at that for too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I get a lot of nightmares and night terrors, and like I've seen that just shadow figure girl crawling in the bed with the beady red eyes,
Yep.
and that's it was a very creepy and realistic thing. But also like because I like have a lot of nightmares and night terrors, like I don't watch a lot of horror because like it just never really hits that home. So I'm a pretty harsh critic. So
Yes.
this one I like it was worth the one watch, but I don't think I'd go back to it. Like I got a lot of gripes.
Yeah, I could see that. It was
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm a pretty hard critic of horror movies too, but
same.
it was good. I'm not gonna say I did not waste my money. I would not say it's bad. I would say it just could have been better.
It was a good experience. I would say kind of like what I tell a lot of people too, because they give me a lot of shit for being like big on like the classic Universal monsters. I mean, like they love it, but they're like, oh, it's not scary. But then go from like your computer screen or a television screen or even like a flat screen at home, but see them stretched across a wall like 50 feet wide, and you just see like their faces coming at you, and like Dracula or the Wolfman or a creature from the Black Lagoon. It changes the perspective. So imagine seeing this Longlegs on like a TV screen. We probably wouldn't have had the same effect.
You're right.
No.
No.
Even with the sound system as well, just the way that the sound comes at you too.
Yeah, like we don't have a bad sound system set up here.
Of course.
But it's nothing like when you go to a theater and like you could feel it hit
Yes.
your chest and like slap you in the face.
Something about
and
the
it's
theater, the
visceral.
experience of going, the
Absolutely.
popcorn.
You're not gonna get that set up at home.
It is great.
I mean, maybe some of the really rich people will, but
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. No,
I
the
feel
theater
it.
experience is truly one of itself, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit about Longlegs. We'll go into spoilers now. So the gist of it really is that this FBI agent, she is involved with this serial killer. The serial killer had come to her when she was younger. This whole plot of him killing these girls that have their birthdays on like the 13th or 14th of the month, so forth and so forth. Basically, she like forgets that she sees him as a child. She remembers that her trunk in her room is still there. She sees that she had taken this Polaroid of him, and then she goes down this whole rabbit hole. But before that moment right there, it is a very slow burn. And it really anticipates everything up until that point where she sees the picture in the chest. And then from there, all literally goes so fast, so quick. And I feel like they didn't like save enough time for themselves, and they got a little ahead of themselves at that moment. But that's just what I see it as.
Mhm.
You guys want to say anything about the actual
I agree.
Yeah. There were some specific moments that were really well done.
Yes.
Like the sound design and like the execution on like her first case that we see her working. Her partner goes up to the house and the perp just blasts him in the head.
Mhm.
Completely agree.
Like,
The
wild.
setup was
It was great.
it was
That was a great
the
start.
setup had the flaw that kind of the whole movie does. It gives a little bit too much away,
Mhm.
where like you can kind of see it coming that like he's gonna get shot in the head or like something's gonna go wrong.
Right.
But they still executed like the actual happening like really well.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. I would say the kind of going back to the whole thing was the fact is I felt that there was enough, we were given enough clues that if you are like, if you have the horror knowledge, you know where things are going.
Yeah. Especially if you replace every single time they say the church, because they're never specific about it in the movie. They always just
Of
say
course.
the church. If you
Yes.
ditch the like preconception that probably most people have of saying the church meaning the Catholic Church, and you go to the Satanic Church, it's doors wide open. You understand everything.
Yeah.
There's not a single secret in the movie.
There was a lot of plants. Like,
Completely.
like I was saying, the moment when her mom was like, "Do you still do your prayers?"
Yes.
And she's like, "No, like they always scared me." She's like, "They don't do a goddamn thing anyway." Like, but you think about it, and you're like, "Oh, that's because she was a Satanist."
Exactly.
And you can see those prayers being more scary. But
Yeah.
even the Catholic ones, like that's not a full giveaway because they're kind of scary.
Yeah, no, they
Cross
are.
my
Yeah.
heart, hope
Exactly,
you die.
exactly, yeah.
It's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
The Catholic religion is very scary.
It is.
I think it's scary.
They want you to have the fear of God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's,
Struck it
it's,
right
Burn
in.
brimstone, baby.
Yeah, really.
There's stuff going on in the Catholic.
They want you to fear it. So, yeah. I would say for sure, like, I would even have been satisfied if we would have taken the whole mom being the perpetrator, being the accomplice out, and if we would have just lingered and given more time to the fact is like we kind of were because the biggest reveal, the biggest question is what does this monster, this man look like? And then the second that we actually get to see who he is, I feel like the whole movie kind of fell flat because it's like the big question was answered.
Right.
And then it's like it's like how do you set up the big question and then you end up try to trump that question with another question that really didn't feel like it hit as hard as it should have.
Right.
Because I mean, I'll put it this way. The mom felt indifferent from the beginning. That was something I noticed in general.
She did.
She felt very indifferent.
I thought she was an all there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the way that the phone call, like there would be pauses in between like her
Especially
speech.
Alzheimer's.
Exactly. Like
Truly.
it felt off because, like, to give you an example, I'm out here from Chicago right now, and when I have a conversation with my mother, and you guys could probably agree, 1,000 questions a minute, always trying to find out something.
They're talking.
Like there's
they wanna know
like
what's
passion and care in their conversation as a mother would be, you know, and especially for a mother who literally made a deal with the devil to spare her daughter. You would think she would want to be a little bit more like concerned about what she's getting into.
No, she's out
Unless
of it,
at that
dude.
point she's so deep in, she's like, my daughter's gonna be totally fine because the devil's got her back.
I honestly, I thought that they were estranged when she first called her mom. I was like, oh, they don't talk. Like,
Yeah.
But they ended up being like very close in relationship. Like she would come over and like talk to her multiple times throughout the movie. They seemed very close, even in the backstory. But when she first calls her and she's like, "Mom," and she's like,
Who is
Lee or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it was like very like broken up.
Yeah, and they're still like,
awkward.
yeah, still your only daughter. Like, what was that? Like, they never
Exactly.
explained anything about there being like a second child or something. So it was like a very weird piece of dialogue. Like, it makes no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just I felt that it was an added on extra, which is kind of cool. Like the way I see it too is that us as a like when you are a fan or if you do watch enough, we are very harsh critics of this because I can guarantee you there's probably like a gaggle of teens that have watched this that cannot sleep now since it's out.
I mean, me 5 years ago probably would be in that group.
That was me. Like when The Conjuring came out, I was done. Sleep, what was
Really?
that? Yeah, no, it got me bad.
Dude, I snuck a pie into the theater to watch The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Ate the pie for like the first half. Watched through it and walked out of there just like, eh. Like, I remember more about the pie than I do that movie.
Was that good? Now, like, I grew up extremely Catholic. Like, I went to Catholic school, like, my whole, like, schooling. Like, elementary to college.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I was in high school and like we all grew up very much. Like me and my friends all went to go see that like a week after it came out, and we went to go see it like at its last showing. So it was like we left the theater at like 1 o'clock in the morning. The streets were dead quiet, and I just remember calling my buddy after The Conjuring. He's like, "Are you up?" I'm like, "Yeah, are you?" And he's like, "Do you want to say a prayer together?" So we legit prayed together before we went to sleep. Like, I miss that, you know? And I guarantee this movie would probably bring that vibe back to this generation.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But for us, we're too far gone. We're doomed. We're doomed. So
Sinister got me when I first watched it.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean?
Yeah, there are a lot of great horror movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But now they like watch them, not be scared at all. You know. I don't know.
It's sad.
But the first time, sometimes you're like, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so personally, I think the writing of Longlegs, I liked some little tidbits, like we said before, like, you know, I allowed you to grow up. We didn't really know what that meant right then, and then now, like, oh, literally allowed you to grow up because I made this deal with this man. Terrified of, you know, the consequences, so she just kept going deeper and deeper and not really realizing what she was doing other than protecting her daughter.
Exactly.
Right.
How many lives she had to...
Well, then she got like Stockholm syndrome.
But then she was into it by the
enjoyed
end.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She got
After
Stockholm
she
syndrome by the
killed
devil.
her daughter's partner or coworker in the car and blasted the doll's head off and, you know, blew half the devil out of her daughter's head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
They could have just left at that point. Like, they were free, really. But then her mom just kept going around.
Kept doing it.
You know, doing the devil's work.
Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome. She really just lost herself in
Like,
it.
they really wanted to extend the movie more, but I think it would have been more impactful if they just ended it there.
Yeah.
Like, her, like, I know, like, because we've talked about this
Oh, the
before,
partner.
like, them, like, you know, they really wanted to bring it to an end where, like, she had to kill her mother.
Yeah.
But they could have done it at that moment and it would have been more impactful, I feel like, than had they kept going and drawn it out.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I thought where I thought it was going to happen. Yeah, the original time when she had, he shot the doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted more elaboration on the black ball because.
I agree.
Yeah, the whole.
It was also convoluted. The plan of getting it in there, like, all you need to do is sneak in the ball, and maybe it's part of the ritual stuff that it's stuck in her head.
Right.
So why the
connect
doll?
it through the daughter, and that's how they possess the family. But even then, it was pretty convoluted.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I felt like, yeah, that's.
The silhouettes of the devil, though, were sick.
That was basically the great thing, and like Nicolas Cage was great at moments, but then there was moments where he was legit Nicolas Cage. You like, he's a dead giveaway in any movie.
Yes.
But then, like, his whole idea of being the doll maker, and he's like the person who does this stuff. Like, first off, the doll is like such a oversaturated use trope in horror. That's you know,
the more creepy aspect is that, like, the dude took this much time and attention to
actually,
detail something like this.
Exactly.
Like, that's creepy. The doll itself is not creepy at all.
Exactly.
Not at all.
Yeah, at this
nice
point,
doll.
it's like it's a nice doll, but like in my head, it's like you're gonna go through all that trouble. Why not just go to American Doll,
right?
Girl doll,
right?
American Girl doll, and just grab something really quick. This one looks like you. Here, put the ball.
Right. Why put someone's work into it?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Your volume output could be so much. Yeah.
Exactly, and like the whole thing, like, oh, it's a gift from the church and all this other stuff. It's like, I just feel like there were so many like loose bits and so many things that were just kind of just added in, like kind of like pushed into the story, that they tried to connect the dots to make it fit, where sometimes less is more.
Which I think, had they taken the supernatural bit out and just had people believing
Yes.
the supernatural work and the
that would
devil's
have made
work
it.
and just
Yes.
going around killing people.
Yeah, just for the sake
That
of
would have
killing.
been like, you know, you could even play into it leading up for the first half of the movie of like, oh, this is actually something supernatural going on. And the end, you find out like, no, it's just crazy people.
That would have made it scarier.
More scary because that is 100% real, no matter what you believe.
Exactly.
Right.
These
Then
people
just
are out there doing crazy things, and they murder
Right.
you.
Very plausible.
Yeah, it would even it would even be funnier if it would be the case where, because we find out, and this was just a cut-in scene, mind you, after Lee passes out, she ends up in the basement of the doll maker's house, and suddenly you find out that's her basement.
Yeah.
Like,
the doll maker was
what?
in the basement making dolls
The whole time.
The whole time she's been
This was like
basement.
under, like, yeah, it makes
Yeah.
no sense. And it's like, you could have, like, right there, that could have been just literally like, what would have been the biggest plot twist of it all is we don't know who Lee's father is.
Mhm.
Maybe that's her dad. And
Right.
her father and her mother are like this tag team serial killer. Like, they go around killing little girls and their families. That would have been crazy.
He used to have probably dinner with the mom all the time when she was growing up. You know, it's like they were working together.
Maybe
in the same house.
dad got caught on the camera or something,
Yeah.
so he
Yeah.
couldn't be with the family anymore.
Yeah.
She put him all in danger, so he's out on the land, but they still work as a team. So that's why she doesn't remember him or know who he is.
See,
It could have happened.
that could
That
have
would have
been
made it better.
That would have been, honestly,
That would have
yeah.
made the movie better.
All
There
right.
you go.
Grab the
No,
cameras. We're remaking Longlegs. Let's go, boys.
All right.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
All right. What do we got next?
Yeah. All right.
What else
So
can we tear apart?
Yeah.
now, overall, I like Longlegs. It definitely was
Very good,
convoluted
very good.
in
It's
parts,
cool.
I like it.
but it was a cool horror film. It was definitely the best horror of the year so far. So
Yeah, that's fair. It was eerie.
easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eerie is a good
Overall, it was fairly
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
It was entertaining. It
It
was
was
fun.
entertaining and very lightly scary.
Yeah. I love the graininess of it too.
Same.
Yes.
Yeah, they really nailed
And the
like,
creativity
the
of the
aesthetic
movie
overall.
in general.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Aspects.
Cinematography, good.
Sick. All right. Before we move on to the episode before the season finale of The Boys, episode 7, I just want to bring up a couple new foods this week. So there is the Deadpool collaboration at Jack in the Box. They're doing these mini chimichangas. They're doing a bunch of like loaded tacos. I think a new garlic sriracha sauce too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll probably review those chimichangas with one of the guys this week and review it next week as well. And then one last thing I wanted to say is that Burger King is releasing this fiery menu. They have like a sandwich, a chicken sandwich. But the three cool things that caught my eye were that they have fiery chicken fries, fiery mozzarella sticks. But they also have this like fiery strawberry Sprite that I want to try.
Right.
Yeah, like the puree is like fiery strawberry.
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, fiery. Yeah. It sounds really good. And yeah, right?
Yeah, July 18th, so in a couple days that'll drop, and I'll try to record myself trying that because I'm intrigued to see what a spicy Sprite tastes like.
Spicy Sprite.
Spicy Sprite.
Spicy. Yeah.
A spicy.
A Sprite.
Spicy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So here is the sauce review. Now this is a garlic sauce. It just says garlic. Actually, it says special grade garlic. You gotta pick real quick before we bust these open. Now, Connor, you've seen the anime before?
Yeah.
What's your opinion? Let's talk about it a little bit of it.
Oh man, I think it's some of the greatest animation I've seen.
Really?
And some like current animes, not the old ones, because I'm not gonna compare them to like Dragon Ball Z and One Piece. I'm not gonna compare it to that. But in a modern making of anime, which Jujutsu Kaisen is, because it's newer, has just very unique style to it. It's very interesting. It's awesome. It's very awesome, actually.
Is it still coming out, or is it done now?
No, it's still coming out.
Still coming out? Okay.
I don't know when the next season drops yet, but
How many seasons are there?
there's 3, 2 or 3.
2
I
or
don't
3?
remember.
I believe there's 2 out right
2.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
Look at that texture.
All right, let's dunk the nugs. We all got nugs.
That's
Some
yeah,
rubber-
it's a texture. It kind of reminds me of a sweet and sour.
It does look
texture,
like a sweet
you know?
and sour.
I was not expecting it. I was expecting like a cream base. It's good.
Yeah, it looks very
Got
good.
barbecue.
Yeah.
Some like pepper specks maybe.
Smells good.
Smells good.
Smells good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a
like a
bite.
bacon.
All right, let's do it. Not what I was expecting.
No.
Not bad.
Mm-mm.
It's definitely garlicky.
Very it's much more savory than I thought it
It's
would.
actually kind of good though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too tangy, but
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so the Jujutsu Kaisen sauce comes out on July 9th today. I'm not sure how long they have it, probably for just a limited time, so
Very good.
make sure to grab yours. I'm going to give it, honestly, I was going to give it a 6 beforehand, but now I'm giving it an 8. Just a 6 was my assumption, but an 8 with the taste.
dude,
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. We got a video beforehand, and you said it's gonna be good. I thought it was gonna be overpowering, but I was wrong. It's good.
Enjoy that.
I think it's an 8 too.
Yeah. It's solid.
Mm-hmm. Like I would dunk my nugs. I would probably
Yeah.
dunk all my nugs in that. You know,
Mhm.
I wouldn't have to switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
It's a good sauce.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. All right.
Tune in next time.
And we're back. Delicious sauce. So this is The Boys, Season 4, Episode 7. Next week is a finale. We'll probably make next week a full episode of The Boys, just recapping the entire season. But this episode of The Boys was a huge cusp. A lot of things happen. A lot of the characters are really trying to figure out who they are and really what it means to them. You know, A-Train is on the cusp of something real, and Mother's Milk is on the cusp of changing something. So all these characters are really trying to find their true selves. And maybe not Starlight. She can't find her true self.
No one can find Starlight.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll go right into spoilers too. This episode of The Boys really encapsulates the idea of of really just getting to the bottom of things. Like, A-Train is the leak. We've known that for days on end or weeks on end, that he has leaked a lot of the information from the beginning of the killings of those 3 guys at the rally up until knowing that the boys would be at this mansion, or the 7 would be at this mansion, so far and so forth. But yeah, any good moments out of this episode that you guys liked?
So many.
So
It was a good
it was insane.
It was a good
So
episode.
good.
Yeah, my personal favorite was when Deep and Noir show up at the headquarters,
That part.
and they just go at it, dude.
That was a good fight.
That was yeah.
Yeah, and The Boys, for being a superhero show, does not have a lot of fighting in it. It's very dramatic.
Mhm.
And it was cool to actually see them duke it out. And there was a lot of funny moments in it. There was a lot of cool moments in it, like Mother's Milk coming in with the Gatling gun. But there were some funny moments, some good jokes.
Mhm.
It was like a quick turn too. It was like they didn't build up to it for a long time. It was just like, all right, you know what? Fine, go
I'm
for
for
it.
it.
Yeah, Homelander
Boom,
just
big
sends them off.
fight.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, so Homelander and Firecracker are kind of in the cahoots now. They push Sage out, and they're kind of doing their own thing, not really following Sage's big time plan. And Sage knew that A-Train was the leak, but maybe she didn't. This whole convoluted idea, and obviously Homelander can't trust her because she didn't tell him. So they lost Sage and A-Train in one episode right before the finale. Super fascinating. What I'm most eager to see, though, in the finale is definitely to see if they actually try to pull off, poisoning Homelander or Newman
Or everyone.
or everyone.
Dude, they just caused
They
a
could
global pandemic.
do a genocide.
Yeah. Well, last episode they said they didn't have enough because
Right.
they only have enough for not even Homelander.
Right.
So we'll see what Frenchie can do with the
We'll see what
leg.
Frenchie can do.
Yeah.
Oh, Frenchie.
Yeah.
Oh, Frenchie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Billy Butcher's back.
Maybe
as,
if they damage him enough first and then give it to him, so between his having to regenerate the virus,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't really know how to kill a lot of the soups, because even Butcher and Starlight couldn't even kill Noir and the Deep, and Starlight threw
Yeah.
this 80-pound weight directly onto the
Yeah.
Deep, so and he was still kicking, so it's
and then there was an 8-pound weight thrown by another suit.
Oh, by another soup, exactly.
And he's
Exactly.
completely
I don't
fine.
know
And
why
he's
he's
completely
passed out.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I
shit,
mean-
he's narcoleptic.
I mean, you got
You talk?
Yeah, that's
You can
true.
talk. Yeah, you're the leak. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Dude, bro, your accent's
Yeah.
wild.
Or just their whole conversation going down the hallway
Mhm.
between the Deep and
Bro.
Yeah,
the
the
Noir.
bro.
Bro. And it turned out they both were in cahoots with Sage as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another funny thing.
Mhm.
But I mean, as for the Deep, we gotta think that his counterpart real superhero counterpart is Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
Like technically, the Deep is like I think he is from Atlantis, right?
Yeah,
And-
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's strong, you know.
He's strong. He can
yeah.
withstand
He can
like
probably
the pressure.
control water.
Yeah.
Basically, we don't see his powers. He's just a dimwit.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
He is.
He is.
But he's like really starting now to like give up
He's
his
strong.
idiot side, and he's
Yeah.
like starting to take charge more.
Mhm.
He's like
Exactly.
wanting
show
to
people
just
die.
chill and like take power, and to see
Yeah.
like someone like him who doesn't really think things through to go power hungry.
Mhm.
That's gonna be fun.
Really fun.
And I mean, the Aquaman is nothing to be joked with, you know. Like he can put down. So I'm sure the Deep could probably put down as well.
Yeah, the Deep and Homelander are the last two OGs as well.
Yeah, I mean technically.
Yeah.
That's Noir.
Oh, Noir, not the same Noir, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's the same guy who plays him.
It's same actor,
Same
sure,
actor.
but
Yeah.
different character in the show. Yeah, because I don't think the Noir, the first one, could fly.
No. This guy is just someone they brought in. With
Yeah, just some
powers.
dude, some dude that could
Yeah.
fly. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't even supposed to fight, just his power, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, his like innate power. But
Yeah, you guys know I can fly, right?
Right.
I can fly.
Yeah, him in the Deep just chilling when everybody else is at the mansion. But this episode will also we see Webweaver just torn in half.
Yeah.
Completely torn in half. Yeah. And that's the first time that Firecracker actually sees that side of Homelander too.
That's
Right, she was
right.
kind of freak.
Brutal.
Yeah.
So I'm
kinda-
intrigued to see if she like kind of steps away or kind of like is like, oh, I'm like in it now.
I'm in it now. I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not that brave either, though.
Mm-mm.
There
Really.
was some great effects, though, too. I will say that.
Oh my god, yeah.
That was an amazing effect.
Homelander
True
Just,
man
like,
part,
just completely just ripped them apart.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Total Terrifier style.
It was
just
total
right in
Terrifier.
half.
Complete gore.
That brings up a question because Homelander has killed a lot of soups.
Mm-hmm.
And like Black Noir, he just like, punches
Yeah.
his gut out and rips his insides.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like that's stuff that other people could do. Like they smash people before, like they smash soups to bits and stuff and they regenerate. But
Mhm.
when Homelander does it as a soup, it's like it
Yeah.
has lasting damage.
Yeah.
What's
True.
with that?
Yeah.
Is that
I
just
don't know.
I don't know. You're right.
That's a good
am I
point.
missing something?
Because he was,
Ah.
I don't know, because he was made in the lab, so maybe that may have something to do with it. Because everyone else
Maybe he's
is
just that strong.
Is that-
He punched the
That's his
power.
power.
Out of
He
him.
has
Yeah.
the power
That's
to
strong.
completely
He punched
wipe
the
out.
regenerative power out of him.
Yeah. It's like this. Yeah, I touch you, you're gone.
That's a good point. Because even like a couple of the soups can't even die.
Kamiko can't die.
Like Kimiko, her
I
leg.
mean, hardly.
Yeah.
She's like Wolverine.
I mean, she's been shot in the head dozens of times.
Many
She
times.
fell out of
Wins.
how many story
Building,
windows
yeah.
smashed the ground into basically just a puddle of gunk and
Mhm.
regenerated.
Yeah. No, she's basically Deadpool, so hopefully she.
I love Kamiko.
Yeah, Kamiko's awesome. I'm intrigued to see where they take her in this last episode. Because the only arc she had was her legging.
And I think one of the best things about Kamiko is that obviously power-wise, the seven are like
Mhm.
way superior to the boys, I think, in like raw power.
Yeah.
But they got Kamiko, who's just this super strong girl who's like a ninja who could not die.
Yeah.
It's like they're one up. Like, they
Who
can take
was
it.
raised as a child to survive, like killing
Right,
other
right.
people
Yeah.
and not dying in knife
Exactly.
fights.
It's
That-
so-
that's where they're gonna bring Kamiko though in
Mhm.
this finale.
Yeah.
Bring her like her sister or whatever, that her partner that was in the same fighting ring. So they keep showing flashbacks of the girl with the scar on her face.
Yeah.
I forget what superpower she has, but yeah.
But
that-
I think it's so funny when like anytime they get in a fight like, as a group in the soup, they're always like Kamiko, we hit them.
yeah.
Like Kamiko always just go like because they're like I can't fucking handle that.
They got Kamiko and Starlight. And Starlight
Yeah,
doesn't
Starlight doesn't shoot.
have powers
shoots
anymore.
light.
Yeah.
I don't even know what she
She's on the
does.
fritz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her and Firecracker both doesn't seem to have much.
Yeah, I know they're doing.
powers,
What's their
yeah.
power?
Yeah.
Like, I really still don't know what Firecracker's power.
She can
Her
snap and
power
yeah,
is
yeah.
that she has no shame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. Truly American.
yeah, and that she can. She's truly American, and she can produce breast milk. Too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And she pumped them with hormones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Homelander's all about that. But yeah, anything else from this past episode that you guys are?
Awesome. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Anything you're eager to see in the finale next week?
Yeah, I want to see if when A-Train dies, man. I
A-Train
put money on it.
die.
You know-
$2 to me.
What's the high low like? A-Train versus the Deep, who's dying, or just like them on their own? Like, what are the chances?
Well,
I think they're the two biggest up for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I honestly, I don't think A-Train's gonna come back till next season because he's already gone. His family's already gone.
Now that he ran, I'm more likely thinking
he's
not
gone.
gonna die, but someone's gotta die.
Someone's
I mean, Firecracker.
it could be
gone.
Firecracker. Could be Firecracker.
I bet you one of the boys is gonna die.
What about
Yeah.
Starlight?
Starlight.
Well, Starlight,
that would be a left field. That would be a wild one.
No, I don't think so. I think they'll wait till like maybe the final battle.
I don't know,
Okay.
man. Huey would
That would
go
set
start
up for something
pounding
wild in the
Yeah.
final
Nah,
season.
they're not gonna
Huey
kill him.
Dude, Huey would
Huey-
unhinge.
No.
Yeah. Kimiko dies.
I'll put my money on that.
Yeah. No, Starlight. At the end of this episode, Starlight was taken by this shapeshifter, and
Which is the same shape-shifting actor from Supernatural.
is it?
Yeah.
Like, they pull scenes straight out of scenes from Supernatural when they're doing the
It's
shapeshifting.
so funny.
Like, the same way the shapeshifter peels the skin
Peels the
off
skin
and
off.
everything. Like,
Yeah.
it's total.
You think she's gonna play a bigger part? Or she's gonna die. The shapeshifter. She seems like she seems like a small part.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I mean, yeah, like a medium part where she's not going to throw it away right away, but
Yeah.
she's not going to stick around for too long.
Yeah. I think the only ones that are truly safe for the next season are Homelander, Butcher, and Huey. That are not dying.
For this season?
I think they're at the end of the season to next season. I think they're all going to stay alive to next season.
No, my guess is everyone's alive except for Frenchie.
You think Frenchie's going to die? I can see Frenchie dying, unfortunately. I can see Frenchie dying.
It's his
Yeah,
time. They pretty much
it's
close the
sad.
story with him and his
Yeah.
boyfriend at the time and killing his family. There's really nothing going for Frenchie other than figuring out how to make this serum.
Right.
And so I could see him like trying to like inject it in somebody and he gets killed in the
He
crossfire.
seems like he's really at the end of his story.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I love Frenchie. I love
Unfortunately.
Frenchie. But... And Kamiko's going to go unhinged, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kamiko will go unhinged. Actually, they probably all will, but... It's going to get brutal next season.
But yeah, the new episode of The Boys. Next episode we'll do a full episode on The Boys finale of season 4. And yeah. The next segment of the podcast is called Solo Missions. Tim, are you watching anything or reading anything?
I am still going through that sugar show that I've been talking about in the last podcast, but I am now like 15 minutes from the last episode. It's good. I do enjoy it still.
Colin Farrell, right?
Colin Farrell, yep, he's a private eye, and he tries to uncover this plot like from a Steven Spielberg type director's granddaughter goes missing, and he tries to figure out. Very cool, very artsy. I really enjoyed it. The time that it was going, I don't think any longer would have done, but it threw a couple left fields in there. It threw one very big left field in there. It's still one of the wildest things I've ever seen in the show. I was like, oh, like that changed the show, but it was still kind of lackluster at the end. I don't know, but that was pretty good. And then Trev and I are watching Baby Reindeer.
Yeah.
Those are the two things I'm kind of doing.
Every episode keeps getting just more and more wild. It's just insane.
It's very weird, very wild, very. I feel bad for the guy, but not too bad because he kind of puts himself in the situation.
He puts himself into it,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
But like the episode we just watched, like it gives us more backstory on kind of where he's at when we pick up at the start of the show, and it makes things make a whole lot more sense. But it's still just like a lot of bad choices.
Very
that he
bad choices.
makes.
Even not to do with Martha, just all around. Dude, just making all the wrong turns.
Yeah, so
He pays for it.
I watched this a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. I watched the whole series, but yeah, I mean, I really like the parts when he's like going in all the pubs and just trying to like get a name for himself is like so weird because no one does that.
It's so funny too because it's actually him, so he actually probably that was his routine, you know.
Yeah, the guy that experienced the story is
Guy's
also
actually-
the guy that is acting and wrote this show. So
it makes it really real. So I think the acting is amazing, and I think Martha is also amazing.
Oh,
all
yeah,
around.
actor
It's a good
so
show.
good.
It's a very good show. It's worth the hype. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Trev, you got anything other than Reindeer?
No, just been going through Reindeer and like the stuff that we kind of watch as a group together. Like we watched Sting the other night, the movie.
Yeah.
And
Sting, yeah.
that was another one that it was good for one watch.
Yep.
Definitely good for one watch.
Which was a review we saw while looking up the movie was someone wrote good for one watch. And I find that to be just such a perfect review for so many movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where, like, it's not trash. It's not that it's bad. It just doesn't have that rewatch factor.
Right.
Like,
It's
I don't feel like I
entertaining for
wasted
now.
my
Right.
time, but I want to go back for seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
No, yeah, I agree. It was good, not that good.
Yeah.
Pierce, you watching any or anything?
At the moment, between when I get a chance to actually watch something, when I'm not working in animation, I have been slowly but surely like trudging through the second season of Sopranos.
Mm.
All right.
Loving it so far.
Legendary.
I had to start it because obviously it's considered one of the greatest
Mhm.
Yeah,
television
top
shows of
three.
all time.
First season's a little bit of a slow burn, you would say.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah, totally. First season was totally a slow burn. Second season's picking up. You're starting to really get a vibe of the world and what it's like to be within that realm, and it's just what kind of brings me back always to it. Like, even though like it's been a minute since I watched it, it's like just the similarities in terms of like the family dynamics and just like how like that world lives. So it's like it's always fun to revisit that. But one thing I've really just recently started up was Tales from the Crypt Keeper.
Mhm.
It is the animated version of Tales from the Crypt that started on HBO, and it's more or less geared for kids. But again, working in animation, it has been great to watch because it has a very comic book-esque vibe,
Very
and
cool,
the backgrounds are gorgeous. The animation is, but what do you expect
It's
for
90 animation.
you know? It's it's
Yeah.
a '90s TV animated situation. Actually, was one of the I noticed one of the first things about it too, is the fact that the backgrounds were digitally painted, and you
Really?
can actually see the
Ah.
pixelation. So it almost looks like if you're looking at a video game. Some of the backgrounds, like
Huh.
you could
Like an
see,
8-bit.
yeah, it almost has like
it
a little
does
bit
look
of,
good, yeah.
you get a little bit of like that sense of like almost like this 8-bit pixelation in the backgrounds in some shots. So that was something that I noticed that was really interesting to see, is like how the 90s was starting to shift into that digital era of animation. But overall, some of I mean, what do you expect? It's a kids show. It's not going to be that scary, but at the same time, there were like some nice morals in it, like, oh, don't steal, or don't kill animals. But like it was just it was a fun watch. I'm like, so far I'm only 2 episodes deep into it. The first one literally had like the big three monsters in it: Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman. And then the second episode followed two brothers who were at first like trying to kill ants in this sort of like war battleship sort of like situation they had set up during a picnic. But a mysterious dark thunderstorm cloud comes in and turns them into ant-sized humans, and just going through like kind of like the experience of being that size. And it's just, again, tied to morals, something that we all kind of were used to growing up with as kids. I don't even think, do you even think that like they're even pushing that type of content anymore?
No.
Like the kids, where it's like, yeah,
No.
be good to
No.
your friends,
Are you
don't
kidding me, dude?
steal.
Have you seen Harley Quinn? Yeah.
Yeah, like, you see what I
Everything
mean?
coming out now is just TVMA, just raunchy as hell.
Yeah.
Honestly, I noticed that too. It's just like, I mean, granted, I don't have children. I'm not really around any like small children in general anymore. Like, even my youngest brother, we're 10 years apart, and like he doesn't watch any of that whatsoever.
Mhm.
And it's like, so like any little bits and pieces I see of like what animation is today, it has little to none of the values that we were given and like that were instilled with us when we were children. You know what I mean? So it's just really strange to what's it called, to see that now, and it's just it's cozy. But that's basically what I've been watching at this point.
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah,
Is that on HBO? Is that?
that is on Amazon Prime.
Amazon.
Sopranos is on HBO, and then obviously last night we watched Sting, and that was fun. The cinematography was kind of cool. The
Yeah,
practical
okay.
spider was really fun to see.
Spider?
Very fun.
That
It
was really nice to see.
He can hum.
Yeah, he could hum.
He can hum.
He could hum.
Spider can hum.
And it was really cool to see that one of the actresses in the film was also Verona, one of Dracula's brides from Van Helsing. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Picking that out, I'm watching the movie. I'm like, I know that face. I've seen that face.
I love Van Helsing.
That
I've,
also was great.
I've stared at that face for many an hour.
So funny.
So yeah,
That's
that's what
a
I've been
movie.
up to.
Hell yeah.
It's awesome.
Excellent. So what I've been watching, The Acolyte. It is a Star Wars show. It is set like 500 years before episode 1. I believe there's only one more episode. It ends the same week as The Boys, I guess. But it is aesthetically pleasing. I love how it looks. I love the wardrobe. The world is so cool, but the characters and the dialogue are just not hitting whatsoever. The characters just seem so dull and so with no life in them, really. They're really just figures. Like there's this last scene, this last episode, where there's like 3 characters talking to each other, and one of them doesn't even seem to be in the same room, and they're like having this like deep conversation from like yards and yards away. And it's just like, it just feels so hollow, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've heard.
But I'll stick it out. I love the Wookiee Jedi was awesome to see in a couple episodes, and this past episode was a flashback episode, so we got to see a little more from them. These past Jedis that are like raised or like praised as these headmasters, but there's just these 2 characters in it that are just not hitting whatsoever. They don't really make sense in the grand scheme of things. But I hate to be that guy, but it is true. It's true.
I have not heard good things about it. I know you and I talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it.
Right, like I'm a huge Star Wars guy. Like anything Star Wars or Marvel, I usually watch the night of because I hate spoilers so much. It like ruins everything for me. So I like, make sure I watch it like right when it comes out. I even like clear my schedule sometimes, but The Acolyte I've never watched right on time because it's something that not only that my like things that I follow don't really cover that often, also that I don't really care about these spoilers. And I haven't seen a spoiler yet, but there isn't really much to spoil, honestly, other than like these like few things that happen here and there, but like you can see them coming. It's nothing, I don't know. Nothing good. I'll finish it.
That's a pretty harsh, honest critique of like there's nothing to spoil.
I'm going to be honest. Even if I could.
There's only so much you can do already with the Star Wars universe.
I know.
Like, we've seen so much of it. And it's not that it's bad, but it's like, do we need that much?
This is like, I mean, if they would have got the story right and the dialogue right, it could have been a really awesome show, and like even like done some awesome callbacks. Even like a young Yoda would be really cool to see.
That would have been cool.
A young Yoda.
They tried that before.
That's what I'm
they
saying.
were thinking about it.
With Star Wars, I don't like. They're already spending billions of dollars in Star Wars, and Star Wars is I think the biggest output franchise.
It's up there,
I think revenue wise.
Yeah.
And it's Disney, and they have the money, right?
Yeah, they got the money.
They have all the rights. Why are they giving us this bullshit? Like, give me a young Yoda. Like, you have the CGI. Like, you can make it work.
Yeah.
Give me a good Obi-Wan and, like, Yoda show together. Like, give us some good hair. Like, Mace Windu. Bring Mace Windu there. Come on.
Yeah, something.
That would sell. People want that. Like, I don't know why they're, like...
mediocre content.
Right.
There's so much of it that like I can't even keep up on all of it and like do other things I want to in life. So I don't follow any of it anymore.
That's how, honestly, and this is a hot take because a lot of people are like, well, like I'm a huge fan of like DC Comics. I'm a huge fan of Batman. That's like my jam. Yeah. But like growing up, I never was really big on Marvel, and they're like that's everybody's jam today. That and Star Wars. I'm like, there's so much. Where do you begin? Where do you like
oh, I'll tell you, Chris.
Oh, thank you very much. I would love to know. Tell me about that for sure.
Yeah.
But like my point being is that there's so much, and it's just like you said, where do you find time in the day to do these things? Yeah. To like spend so much time within these realms.
Right.
It's like if you didn't start with it,
exactly,
you're never gonna be
able to catch up.
Because
you're like, good luck.
Truly, I started with it. So like, from 2008 with Iron Man and Incredible Hulk, I've watched every movie the year it came out, and the show, every day it came out. So to me, it doesn't seem like a lot, but with everything culminated together, I even tried watching a lot of the movies again before, Infinity War and Endgame. I'm like, wow,
that's a lot of these. That's a lot.
A lot of these. I could say about the MCU, and probably sums up my opinion, Duty, is going back over how many years it's been. Very first one, Iron Man. Best one.
Yeah, Iron Man is still in my top 5. I will say.
Makes sense.
Iron Man, it's a good movie.
Like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I
will
saw
say.
that one. It's been my favorite one for how many years? They put out how many movies? doesn't seem like they're gonna do better than that, so I'm good not watching it.
Iron Man also feels like a movie that you can watch separately from the MCU.
Yeah.
Where
exactly.
like if I jump into like
You just
Quantumania
recommend
or like I'm like I feel like I need to watch everything. Like,
Yeah, because
It's like-
it's
it's like
calling
a
back
random
to
one.
so much.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
web, it
Like,
doesn't
Iron Man
exist.
is a standalone.
Yeah, it can exist on its own. You can just
Mhm.
recommend it as
It's
a good movie to someone.
Yeah,
Everyone else
exactly.
is so caught in
Yeah.
the web, it doesn't exist.
Le-
on
legit.
its own.
Like I recommend Civil
Pun
War to somebody who
intended.
hasn't seen Marvel movies.
Yeah.
They're like, why are they fighting?
Civil
Like, what
War's
is going
great, though.
on? It's such a good movie. But
I
yeah,
love
you just,
Civil War.
you just, if you didn't watch them all.
Yeah.
You know, like with Star Wars, by the time we were all born,
Mhm.
there was only 3 of them out.
Exactly.
You know? So we got to kind of grow up with the first 3 or the prequel.
The prequels.
series.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
it just hit the
That's
floodgates
true.
open
Bam,
and
bam,
went
bam.
into like all the TV
Yeah.
shows. But we,
Overhaul.
Wow.
but Star
Phantom
Wars was very
Menace.
obtainable when we
Love Phantom
grew
Menace.
up with it too.
I
So we
had-
got started on the cusp of that. It was just a 3-movie trilogy.
I had like my whole bedroom was Phantom Menace. Now that you bring that up, that we grew up with like that second wave of Star Wars.
It's so
I
good.
had the bed sheets, the curtains, the
Mhm.
pillows. I
Darth
had
Maul lamp.
a
Darth
Jar
Maul
Jar Binks tent.
No, you didn't.
tent?
Yes,
What?
and
No,
a
you
sleeping
didn't.
bag.
That's right.
Yes.
Jar
It was
Jar,
an
you're a
ani-
Jar Jar stand?
Hey, Jar Jar
I
was
like Jar
funny.
Jar.
Jar Jar was cool. I had a winter hat with his, and it had like these frilly things on top. And I had an Anakin Skywalker sleeping bag that I used to put in the living room and watch like all my shows with. You know, so yeah, I was that kid who grew up with the Star Wars like kid, like the original Star Wars kid. I was the kid of the Star Wars kid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
so-
too.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I had
were we
no
all?
choice.
Yeah.
we had
Where
no
we all?
choice.
All
It's
right.
true.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's your favorite Star Wars?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I gotta be honest. Like
I feel like I know what you're gonna say. Wait,
for me, I think it's Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge is same with us. We're all like, I've talked to multiple people about this, including you guys.
Yes.
And I'm like, everyone's like, technically, Empire Strikes Back is the best movie. And
Yeah, I agreed.
and
like-
you can't, but
but
everyone's
Revenge
like,
of the
but Revenge
Sith.
is there's something about it.
It's just there's
so
something
good.
so raw, and it's the fact that you
The
really,
emotion.
you get the beginnings of where this
Right,
all
it's so good.
began.
I don't know where any
That
of the
makes
hate
sense.
was from.
Yeah,
movie.
it's true. Like
Mhm.
you watch the original trilogy. It's like there's just this big guy in a big cape, and he's in all black,
Yeah.
and he's supposedly like the worst thing that's ever came to the galaxies. And then that's all you're given.
Right, you don't know anything about him.
Exactly. But now you kind of get to see how the sausage was made.
Right.
I mean, as chopped up as he was.
Right.
You know?
As chopped up as he was.
All we knew that he was a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Exactly, that was
Which
it.
Skywalker.
Which is very crazy for people growing up after this, like after 2008, is that they always have known Anakin and Darth Vader to be, like, they always know Hayden Christensen's face, or
Yes.
as Obi or as Darth Vader. Before that, no one knew like what he looked
Finding
like.
an old
Yeah.
copy of it, they had to go back and
2005.
re-edit it. But
They did.
Yeah,
They
as,
did.
Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
They did that, and see, that's a whole other topic. Like the whole fact that they actually went back in and they like CG like edited things. But then George Lucas like made a statement. He's like, if the fact that now I can do this, it's like if you mess up something or like you wanted to change something, it's like his artistic choice to do that.
Mhm.
And I don't blame him at the same time. But it's like
I get it,
It's-
but also there's
it's
rights.
original.
Yeah.
Again,
It's like
yeah.
the movie making process. So, like when the writer finishes the script, the story's done. And he hands
Yeah.
it off, and he's done with the story. And then like the director of this thing, and then the editor rewrites the story. It's the third iteration, and then they send it off to audience, and they write it themselves with what they see and what they
exactly
filter through their mind. And at that point, the audience has written the story, and it's no longer the director's story.
at all.
And
Yeah.
Star Wars is crazy because George Lucas, before he got bought out by he sold to Disney,
Yeah.
he would just take like fan fiction and be like, yeah, that's canon. Yeah, that's canon. I don't know, sure, that's canon. So everything became canon. All these crazy things, and then
Yeah.
Disney cut everything that was canon from the books and just said just the movies are canon. Now going, except for on a few that they got.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
said going forward, everything is going to be canon now. So games, books, movie, anything post 2014 is canon. That's Star Wars.
Yeah.
But before that, there's just a mess of just lore that's
It's
not
just
part
so
of any like canon
much.
Star Wars anymore. Just cut it out.
And that it goes back,
wild.
to circle back into it. It's just there's so much, and that's why it's like, the way I see it is like, if you find a plot or like a storyline or characters within the Star Wars universe from this point forward, I think this is where the trend's going to go. Where it's like you're going to have to. Star Wars has now just become a new genre. It's no more just sci-fi.
No.
Star Wars in itself is a genre.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And now it's a matter of, okay, do you want Star Wars comedy, Star Wars action, Star Wars horror, which would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my
That'd be
god. that
Star
would
Wars
be so
horror would be
cool.
crazy.
That would be
right?
really
Good.
cool. I would totally
Okay,
watch
we
that.
need to get on that one.
Yeah, hold on.
That would be really, really cool. But like that's what I've realized at this point. So it's like it's a matter of
Yeah.
just picking and choosing.
Because
Sure.
at this point, 90% of the Star Wars work out there is basically it's just fan fiction. That's what
It
the Star
is.
Wars
Right.
universe
is.
is it's just a whole collection of fan fiction.
That's really what it became.
Yeah, so I just looked up the highest IPs, and Star Wars is at the 4th right now.
What's number 1? Harry Potter?
Harry Potter's way below.
Wait, let me guess.
Well, what's the highest one?
Avatar?
Avatar's not even on the
It's
list.
not even on the list.
What
Probably
did-
not even on the list.
Not even on the list. I'll tell you the top 5 other than one.
Marvel?
Mickey
No.
Mouse.
Number 2 is Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse?
Number 3 is Winnie the Pooh. Number 4 is Star Wars. Number 5 is the Disney Princess. Just the princesses.
Just all of them.
So
are
then
just
what-
Disney
princesses.
princesses, really?
Could potentially. Let's guess who number 1 is then.
And then 6 is Harry Potter. 7 Barbie. 8 MCU. 9 Call of Duty. And number 10 is Batman.
9 Call of Duty.
10 is
10
Batman.
is Batman.
Shit.
Alone Batman? Batman should be
He should be
up there.
way
Spider-Man
higher
should
than
be
that.
up there, too.
DC?
Exactly.
Superman?
Did they just say DC as a whole for it or something?
No,
I
this
think
is
just
Batman.
Batman's
Just
IP.
Batman.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman makes sense. But,
I mean, Batman's always worked alone.
Just
yeah,
Batman.
that's true.
Yeah.
What is a
Because they had
character?
like the MCU on the list.
Yeah.
Like, is the DC like,
So Spider-Man's technically number 12.
Okay.
So
Let's
the,
see.
so the
Spider-Man's
MCU is separate. Yeah.
I'm surprised Superman's not above him.
yeah, number 1's
Superman,
Fast
I
and
don't even
Furious.
see.
Good night.
Superman's below Pac-Man, Lion King, Toy Story,
Yikes.
Wow.
Avengers,
Yikes.
Frozen,
But
Warcraft,
you know what though?
Minions.
It's been a hot minute since Superman's been in a movie.
I was gonna say Batman pumping out movies like left
Yeah.
and right. It
Yeah,
always
like
has.
almost every
Yeah.
3 to 5 years we're getting
Yeah,
a
and
new
they
Batman.
sell a lot of
Ooh, yeah,
people
it's
watch
Batman.
Batman. People
Exactly.
love Batman.
Oh, Superman's way down there. Superman's below
No.
NFL,
No.
below
What?
X-Men,
X-Men.
below,
Wow.
below Ben 10.
What? No way. That's cool.
Ben
you know what?
10.
You gotta give it Ben 10.
Oh, come on.
Ben
He's
10's
cool.
awesome. I love Ben 10.
He's cool.
Ben-
He
I
is
love
cool.
Ben 10.
Ben 10
Come
has
on.
made $7.8 billion, and Superman's only made 6.9. So they're close.
Yeah, 6 points.
What's the biggest IP? Taylor Swift.
No, number 1. You still don't know what it is?
Did I guess it yet?
No, no one guessed it.
Number
I'll give you a hint. It's something I really enjoy.
Pops.
Mm.
Oh, Pops.
No.
VHS. That's not even an IP.
Yeah, the VHS IP.
As an IP, VHS as a whole.
It's number 1. Yeah,
Laserdisc.
number 1 in
Oh,
2024. Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Is number 1.
Yeah, Pokemon
That
is
makes
number 1.
sense.
This Pokemon has merchandise, the
Mhm.
games, the
That
The
makes
the
sense.
shows, the
yeah.
movies.
They got so much content.
They actually have
Right.
they actually have a jet aircraft delivery sale
Yeah.
line as well.
That's
And,
right.
and they all sell like crazy. Everything
Yes.
Pokemon sells like.
Yeah, look at
Top-
that. They have
top
like
priority.
Pokemon jets that fly around the world.
Yes,
That's
I've
awesome.
seen those.
So
Gotta catch them all.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even close either because Mickey Mouse is number 2 and they're at 52 billion. Pokemon's number 1 with 88.
Whoa.
Anyway.
That's anime.
That's what it's become. That's what it's become.
Yeah,
So
I love
good.
Pokemon. I'll talk more about Pokemon once the new game comes out too.
For
but-
sure.
I think Nintendo used to just like house the Yakuza and sell nudie cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sell trading cards. Yeah.
The cards, yeah.
Wow,
That's true.
It's so many different outlets.
I love Pokemon.
That's called total merchandising,
That's
boys.
total merchandise.
Absolutely.
They sold. They sold this. They went all in, put the chips down.
Literally.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing I want to say about what I'm watching is the Sausage Party show came out called Sausage Party Foodtopia.
Mm.
The only reason I actually remember that it came out because it literally came on right after the Boys episode. So I literally just started watching it. I was like, oh, I forgot this show was coming out. But it's got all the original cast: Seth Rogen. It's got Michael Cera. You know, the animation's a little off what you would expect from movie to TV.
Of course.
But
yeah.
overall, it's pretty funny. It takes place right after the events of the downfall of the grocery store, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, I definitely give it a watch if you're into Rogan. It's
love it.
I kind of forgot that the whole premise was, having sex, the foods just all having sex
That's
with each
so
other.
funny. I know. It's so
Yeah.
I kind of forgot that
That's
until they
so
started doing it in
Yeah.
the streets, and then they didn't realize what rain was, and so the rain started killing all the soft foods. So it was really funny. Everyone's just having this huge orgy in the street. Rain kills most of the people.
Nice.
So funny. Yeah, I watched about half those episodes, and we'll definitely finish those this week probably.
Yeah.
I'm also watching The Bear. I have one more episode of that.
Oh.
Love The Bear.
I gotta watch that
Yeah,
season.
season 3.
That was a surprise drop for you.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
did.
They dropped it. Are you kidding
Mhm.
me? I never watched it.
Season 3.
That's my next on my list.
Yeah, I love The Bear. Like being from Chicago and
Yes.
the whole aesthetic of
Well,
the
Yeah,
someone in
it
the
really
house on the
nostalgic.
show.
Yeah, exactly. But
Do you feel nostalgic for home when you watch it?
I
Or for like
do.
Chicago?
I
Like,
do.
oh, I remember that.
Mhm.
Just that over, yeah.
The Bear and Shameless actually are like the two shows that have captured that for me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Shameless was too. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's always the harsh
Absolutely.
winter where everything
Yeah.
looks dry.
Mhm.
You know? Yeah.
And everyone's all bundled up.
Yeah,
and-
everything looks really dry and just monocolor.
But I've been watching this season 3 of The Bear. I watched all of them pretty quickly except for the last 2. I just watched the second to last episode yesterday. So good. So I'll probably watch the finale this next week and talk about it next week. But
yeah.
let's see. Tim, would you rather be incredibly smart or incredibly funny?
Incredibly smart. As much as I would love to be funny. I would love to be
Incredibly
smart.
funny, dude.
I would
Yeah.
love to be
Incredibly
incredibly funny.
I'll be a
lot of
dumbo
smart
and still
people
be
that
so
get
funny.
nowhere. You could be smart. And
I
it's-
know.
It doesn't
I
define what area you're smart in, not
Mm.
just overall. You can be very, very smart at something and not go anywhere.
could be cracking
But
jokes and
you
not
also
getting anywhere in
have to
life
be
too.
smart to be
Doesn't mean
funny.
I'm
I don't
smart.
know.
It takes a
If you're
certain
super
level of
funny, people will
intelligence.
start seeing that.
People say, yeah, but what if I'm not smart enough to go to a gig? And so
True.
Well, you could take it in this sense.
Doesn't
You
mean
could
you're
be so
stupid.
intelligent and to the point that you have such knowledge of just general whatever it may be. Who's to say that you can't, as an intelligent person, analyze what a joke is? And even if it's the case that you give it a shot, you can still recite a joke.
Name one smart funny guy.
Because like it takes a,
Stephen Hawking.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Rest in peace.
Oh man. Yeah. But you know what? Here, am I as intelligent besides that one piece of modifier? Am I intelligent as I am now? Like, would I become really funny, but I'd still have my knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, then
Yeah.
yeah, I would be funny because
Yeah.
I would be smart enough to go.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is the smartest you'll ever get,
Yeah.
but you can become so much more funny.
I'd be a comedian. You kidding me, dude?
Might as well.
Well, I'll say if you know what you're using it for, if you can use that being funny to your point, like if you know that you're going to be the funniest thing that ever existed, then yeah, be a comedian and go out there and give them what you got. But with intelligence, you have the option of going so many different routes in life in general.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you might not be able to tell a really funny joke or just have like that comedic timing, but there's so many other aspects of intellect that can get you to where you maybe want to
We
go.
want to be.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Sage is the smartest person in the world, and she got kicked off the 7.
That's
The Deep's
true.
an idiot, but he's funny. He's still got.
Yeah.
The deep still gets a
Oh,
paycheck.
busted. You just debunked that one.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn, that's a good one. That's a good question.
All right, this one I like this one better. Would you rather collect 2 of every animal or build the ark?
Ooh, I know my answer.
I'd build the ark. I'm not gonna
You
go.
build the
I'm not
ark?
going out there
Building
collecting
the
that.
ark.
Dude,
I'm-
that's so
I'm
much
sure
work.
I'm
construction. I don't know all the
collecting the animals.
I'm not going out collecting that.
No, I look at the
You know how much
animals.
time
Yeah.
that would take, dude? The ark was big, but it's a lot of animals over a long span of land.
Yeah, but the ark is like, that would take so long to build.
Yeah, just one step at a time.
I mean,
You're only sitting in one spot
But
too
at
for
least like,
days
I
on end.
know I can accomplish it. There's some animals where I'll be like, am I even gonna
I
find
mean,
this
yeah,
guy?
I mean, if we're talking about something along this realm, I mean, there's probably by the grace of God, you're probably trying to find these things anyways. So it's like,
Yeah, but
I
how
love
do you
animals.
capture a king cobra.
If
You
you gotta
put
give it
the-
the
no,
best
no.
try you can.
you get the 2 mongoose first, and then
That's
the mongoose get the 2 snakes
see,
into the
you
fucking
gotta be
basket.
strategic.
See, and that's why I couldn't ever do that part. I
See?
built the ark.
That's why I built it.
Yeah,
Nah.
it's super easy to get all the little animals from Africa too. You just let loose the lions, and then you let them into a
Bring them all
box. Yeah,
Exactly.
Start a forest fire, force them all one
yeah
way.
exactly.
I mean-
with the net.
I just think that you're living life right if you got like a handful of animals. Just like
Thank you. On
Yeah.
a boat for almost 2 months. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you don't gotta pay for the zoo.
that's true. That's true.
crazy.
But how do you keep them from not eating each other?
They were all caged.
You
up.
gotta keep them caged up. You gotta have their section.
What kind of
I would-
cages?
I
What
would
kind of
see our
cages
That's on the
existed?
person building the ark.
What kind of cages existed back then? Maybe just walls.
Yeah,
rooms.
wooden
They were always
walls.
in the influence of
Had
God.
some segmented things, whatever. Just tell them to be nice.
That's true.
They'll listen.
And plus, when you're building the ark, you got to think like, oh, I got to build the giraffe exhibit. Like, I gotta leave room for this guy.
You gotta
2 of
leave-
these guys.
Yeah.
No. One size fits all.
One size fits all.
Spiders,
Perfect.
giraffes,
I
same
don't
cage.
know. I don't know.
Yep. Just pack them in.
No. Yeah, I'll bring the animals in. It's your luck to bring them in. The
Yeah,
actual
you
ark.
guys build it.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
bring the animals.
And you gotta push them wherever you
Yeah,
want to.
we'll
yeah.
Snow White it at
Yeah.
this point. Yeah, that's how we bring them in.
Alright,
We just sing a song in the
Yeah,
woods.
there we go.
They just come.
They're
in.
all over the place, dude. They'll fly you home. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks for listening to Pink Moose Podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate it.